Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm back down on the rocks and I'm going to be filming about a 20 or so minute full body stretching routine. This one is going to showcase some of my personal favorite stretches. So these are what I do on a day-to-day basis to help maintain my flexibility and stay loose and not sore after workouts. So I really hope you enjoy this. Grab your water, grab your mat, and let's go. Hey guys, let's start this one off at the top of our mats. Just stand comfortably, feet a few inches apart, and take your hands behind your back, clasp them, and use them to open through the chest. Really focus on pulling your shoulder blades down and back as you gaze up to the sky, starting to connect with your breath. And on the exhale, go ahead and roll down into forward fold. You can keep your hands clasped behind you if that's comfortable. And just allow all the tension to drain out of you. Let your face relax as you feel this great stretch along the backs of your legs and your shoulders. And go ahead and release your hands, stay in the forward fold, and now clasp elbows in opposite hands, and again, just let your upper body hang loosely, adding a gentle rock from side to side. Breathing deeply. And coming back to center, releasing the hands and then interlocking them behind you again, lifting up into flat back, and then releasing again into the forward fold. Once more, inhaling to flat back, pulling your shoulder blades down and back, and releasing again into forward fold, just alternating here at your own pace. And go ahead and take 2 more flat backs, really pressing your hips back at the top of the motion. And then let those hands come back down to the mat. We're going to take a twist now in the forward fold position. So go ahead and look over that left shoulder, right fingertips just slightly on the ground or on your shin. Really staying lifted, looking up and over, breathing here, feeling that great twist. And then releasing back down to center and rotating over to the other side, looking over your right shoulder. Try to just keep those left fingertips for support. Don't have all your weight coming forward. Try to use your core to help your upper body stay up and lifted. And coming back down to center. Go ahead and walk out those hands and come into a downward dog position, pedaling the feet. Pressing away the mat with the hands, trying to drive your heels back down toward the earth. And just take a couple breaths to get comfortable here in downward dog. When you're ready, press back into downward dog, really pressing back through the hips. And we're going to come into 3-legged downward dog. Right leg reaching up to the sky, toes pointed, feeling strong and lifted. And you can stay there, that's totally fine, or try one of my favorite moves, which is to bring that right toe towards you, almost as if you were trying to touch your nose, looking out and back over towards your toes. Sort of an odd position, but it's a good one. Coming back into the 3-legged downward dog now. Just staying here, pausing, getting familiar with this position. And go ahead and lower that leg down, and we're going to switch sides, coming into a 3-legged downward dog with your left leg pointing up to the sky. Really squeeze through the butt as you try to lift and lengthen through the leg, trying to get that leg to be as long and lean of a line as possible. And you can stay there, or you can bend the left leg and look up and over the right shoulder, trying to touch the left toes to your nose. Great stretch. Coming back once more into the 3-legged downward dog, and then releasing that left leg to the ground. Pausing here for a moment in downward dog before taking that right leg up in the air again and stepping it forward into a high lunge. Getting situated here finding your strength, really pushing away the mat, staying lifted through the chest, gazing out in front of you as you press through the hips, stretching through the inner leg. And on the exhale, shift your weight back, lengthen through the front leg, and come into pyramid pose. Just breathing here, fingertips lightly on the mat. You should be using your core to help your body stay lifted over that front leg. One more breath here, and then exhale forward into the high lunge, and inhale up to warrior one, hands clasped and reaching up to the sky as you open through the chest, gazing out in front of you as you press through the hips and try to drive back through that back heel. And inhale, exhale, rotating that back foot to come into warrior two, this time arms reaching out in opposite directions, really trying to press forward over that front leg. Take a nice deep breath here, and then rotate your upper body, placing your right fingertips on the mat as you reach up and over with that right hand. And try to keep your gaze up toward the sky, up toward the left armpit, to make sure that your body is staying open and not collapsing forward. And if you like, you can try for a wrap. So take the left arm around your body and trying to reach through underneath your leg with your right hand and clasp your left hand. Again, gazing up toward the sky. This is a bit more of a challenge for your core, adding a great twist. Go ahead and release your hands back down to the mat, coming once more into pyramid pose, then bending that front leg for a reverse side angle. This time your left hand is on the ground and your right fingertips are reaching up toward the sky, reaching as high as you can, breathing here. And last inhale, exhale, taking that right hand back to mat and stepping back into plank, holding here in high plank, pressing away the mat, and then shifting your weight forward, coming into hover, chaturanga, and lifting your upper body into up dog. Breathing here for a second, opening through the chest, squeezing through the butt. Take a big inhale, and on the exhale, tuck the toes and push back into downward dog. And we're going to repeat that stretch series now, taking the left leg up, reaching it toward the sky, pausing here, and then when you're ready, inhaling it, stepping it forward between your hands to come into high lunge. Fingertips just gently on the mat for support as you press forward through the hips and back through that right heel. And go ahead and take a nice big inhale. And on the exhale, shift your weight back, straightening that front left leg to come into pyramid pose. Again, using your core to help your body stay lifted and not collapse fully over that front leg. This is a really great pose to practice lifting on the inhale and lengthening on the exhale. And last breath, shifting forward once more, bending that front leg, and inhaling up into warrior one, reaching your hands up and above your head as you gaze out long, adding maybe a gentle pulse here if that feels good to you. And on the exhale, rotating that back foot, taking your arms out long, coming into warrior two, gazing over those left fingertips, and breathing here. And on the exhale, taking those left fingertips to mat, pinwheeling your right arm up and over your head, reaching your right fingertips out long in front of you as you gaze up toward the sky, really trying to pull the right shoulder blade down and back. And we're going to take a few breaths here. If you'd like to try for a wrap, go ahead and take your right arm around your back and your left through your legs, and try to clasp your hands behind you as you look up toward the sky. And last breath here. Go ahead and release your hands down to the mat. You can straighten that front leg briefly just to give it a little bit of a break, and then go ahead and bend it again, this time coming into the reverse side angle. Right hand on the ground, left fingertips reaching up toward the sky. And last breath. Go ahead and bring the left hand back down toward the ground, step back into plank, and just check in with yourself to make sure you're not letting your body droop. You should be squeezing through the butt and through the abs as you press back through the heels. Go ahead and shift your weight forward, slowly lowering down into hover, squeezing through the butt, pressing through the hands as you come up into up dog. And if you like, bend at the knees to come into king pigeon pose, trying to reach your nose to your toes. And then releasing back down, pressing back through the hips to come up into down dog. And we're gonna repeat that 2 more times. So shifting your weight forward on the inhale, coming into plank, lowering down into chaturanga, pressing upward into up dog, opening through the chest. Once more, pressing back through the hips to come into down dog, pausing, shifting forward, high plank, lower down into chaturanga, and up again into up dog. Awesome job. Go ahead and sit back into a wide-legged child's pose, knees pointing out towards the edge of your mat. Really reach through the fingertips towards the end of your mat, allowing your upper body to sink toward the mat as you sit back on your heels. And if you'd like to stretch through the neck, you can go ahead and take your gaze over your right shoulder, pausing, coming back to center, and back over the left shoulder. Just loosening everything up, alternating there back and forth. And taking your head to center, pressing up to all fours, and then shifting your weight back, coming into downward dog. And we're gonna do some of my favorite back bend stretches now. So starting from a seated position, find yourself a comfortable spot on your mat and roll down onto your back. We're gonna start with some bridges. So arms just loosely by your sides, feet a few inches apart, and I want you to press up through the hips, through the pelvis, really engaging the legs and the butt to lift the hips higher, lightly squeezing the knees together to try to keep them hip width or so apart, pressing the arms and the shoulders into the mat. And you can stay here or go ahead and lower down, placing your hands on the mat behind your head, fingertips facing towards your shoulders, and press up into full wheel pose. Don't try this one if you have any sort of back ailments. It's very challenging. Make sure you're keeping your feet pointed out in front of you. Don't let them splay out to the sides. I love this pose for stretching out the abs after a really intense ab workout. It's also just great for opening through the chest and improving your spinal mobility and flexibility. Go ahead and lower back down onto your back if you are in full wheel pose, hugging your knees to your chest to relieve any tension through the back, adding a little bit of a rock back and forth. And release your feet down to the mat. Zip up your legs and take them over to that right side for a spinal twist. Arms out long on either side of you, looking up and over those left fingertips. Another awesome, super easy to do stretch for your spine. And go ahead, windshield wiper your legs over to the left side, looking up and over your right fingertips this time, and just breathing here. And releasing legs back to center, rocking up to a seated position. Take your legs out long in front of you, feet flexed, arms reaching up toward the sky, and then exhaling, swooping them forward, reaching them toward the end of your mat. And then inhale, sitting back up tall again, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, swooping forward, reaching toward those toes as you hinge at the hips. And then last time, fingertips up toward the sky. Deep breath in and deep breath out, coming into that forward fold position. On the inhale, sit up into flat back, feet flexed, trying to reach as far as you can as you pull your shoulder blades down and back, and then exhale, releasing forward. Inhaling up to flat back again, and again releasing. Using your breath here, it's so important. It feels so good when you finally can connect with your movement and your breath. Take a moment here in forward fold, and then when you're ready, point your feet, sit up tall, and we're going to come into a hurdle stretch, leaving the right leg out long in front of us as we try to take the bottom of our left foot to our right thigh. Just folding gently over that right leg. And to really stretch to the left side of the body, go ahead and take your left hand up and over and make sure your gaze is up toward the sky. And one more deep breath here. Use your abs to come up into a seated position. We're going to switch over to the other leg, so taking that left leg long, bottom of the right foot connecting with the left thigh, trying to get that right knee down toward the ground as you reach up and over with your right hand, really feeling that stretch along the right side of your body. And let's just hold this position for one deep breath. Lovely. Sitting up tall. This time we're going to come into a full straddle stretch. Taking your legs out wide into a V position, hinging forward at the hips. Using your breath to help you get through the stretch that's very intense. And if it's comfortable, you can bring your forearms or your arms down to the mat, trying to get the chest towards the mat. This is when I get super excited about the boat, which is no longer in the frame. And I know this one hurts, but let's just stay here. We're gonna breathe through it. Deep, deep breaths. Make sure you're pushing yourself because that is how you get more flexible. If you're not feeling challenged, you need to take your legs out wider, or try to bring your chest down toward the mat a little further. Nice job. Go ahead and walk yourself back up to seated and take your legs out in front of you. And then go ahead and make your way up to standing into a wide-legged forward fold. Really focus on hinging at the hips, pressing back toward the back of your mat, trying to get the forearms down on the ground, feeling that great stretch along the back of the hamstrings. Try shifting your weight from side to side just to see if one of your legs is a little bit more stiff than the other, any areas you need to work on. And exhaling all of that air out, inhale, bending the knees, rolling up to standing. Allow yourself a back bend as you reach your hands up to the sky, and then exhale them back down, inhaling up toward the sky, and again exhaling down. And one more time, reaching through the fingertips. And we are done. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like and subscribe. It really supports my channel. See you again soon. Bye.